Welcome to the St. Louis Zoo Primate Canopy Trails.
Here at Tarleton, safety is our number one priority. We believe that everyone should go home the same way they came to work. Tarleton has put in place specific safety guidelines that everyone must follow at all times, which we believe will help us achieve this goal. Please follow along on the checklist and check the boxes as we go to acknowledge training and understanding of all topics. If you have any questions during the video, please ask the project superintendent or a member of the project team. All workers must be actively enrolled in the St. Louis Construction Consortium. Drug tests will be conducted for all incidents at random and for cause. Toolbox talks will be held Mondays at 12:30 p.m. sharp. All workers are required to attend. All calls for the City of St. Louis Emergency Services will originate from the Zoo Rangers. Never call 911. All medical and fire emergency notifications should go through 314-781-0900, extension 2222. This project is built around existing trees throughout the project site. There are specific rules and requirements in place in which it is everyone's responsibility to ensure these trees remain in good health throughout this project. Please use extra caution around these trees at all times. All gates should be kept closed unless someone is actively monitoring them. This is a USDA federal requirement for animal containment purposes, and violations are strictly enforced. Pictures for non-work purposes are not allowed in non-public areas. Any pictures for work that include animals or zoo staff taken from non-public areas, anywhere within the construction zone, primate house, behind the scenes, etc., must be cleared by a zoo representative and are not allowed to be posted on any social media platform. The nearest hospital is Barnes Jewish. The nearest healthcare clinic is Concentra Midtown. The St. Louis Zoo is a tobacco-free campus, and no smoking or tobacco use is allowed on the property. Food or drink is to be contained to the designated break area appointed by the Tarleton Site Superintendent. Tarleton's Site Superintendent is Jeff Peterson. He can be reached at 317-437-6643. Temporary facilities will be available on the site. Use of existing facilities is not permitted. All trade and subcontractor parking is available on the east side of the south parking lot. Parking on the project site is not permitted. The evacuation point will be the south parking lot. All deliveries must be coordinated with the Tarleton Superintendent at least 48 hours in advance. Space on site is limited, and any uncoordinated deliveries will be sent away. Workers should immediately report unsafe conditions to their supervisor. No worker will be required or knowingly permitted to work in an unsafe area unless the work involved is to correct the hazard, and then only after all safety precautions are implemented. Workers will always report fit for duty. Intoxicating beverages or narcotics are prohibited on the premises. Do not come to work under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Firearms or any type of explosive are not permitted on zoo grounds, including parking lots. Fighting, horseplay, practical jokes, or unprofessional behavior will not be tolerated. Anyone found to be willingly damaging or defacing zoo property will be prosecuted. Threatening or abusive language directed at fellow employees, supervisors, zoo representatives, or zoo visitors is prohibited and grounds for removal from the property. Gambling on zoo property is prohibited. Posting notices not approved by zoo officials is prohibited. Any and all discrimination or harassment will not be tolerated and will be cause for removal from zoo grounds. All incidents must be reported immediately to contractor management or zoo representatives. Theft of any nature or form is cause for immediate removal from zoo property and will result in prosecution. All employees will remain in the work area in which the contract work is being carried out. While working on site, you may encounter zoo employees, guests, visitors, and staff coming and going around the area every day. Show them courtesy and respect. If you encounter a person attempting to enter the site without the proper PPE, please escort them to the project site office or out of the project area. Do not wear clothing on the project that has explicit pictures or wording. All foremen and/or supervisory roles will be enrolled in the St. Louis Zoo Emergency Management Text Message Alert System. In the event of drills and/or real emergencies, all personnel will be required to participate and follow the guidelines set forth in the alerts. The St. Louis Zoo has a specific contractor safety handbook in which all employees on site are expected to read and abide by. Aerial lift operations. Areas around and below the lift shall have restricted access and controlled with the use of barricade tape. Fall protection. Pits, trenches, and floor openings shall be barricaded with approved fencing and covers. Fire protection. Both the person conducting the flame or spark producing activity and the fire watches must have a fire extinguisher at the ready. Flagging off the area around and below the flame or spark producing operation is mandatory. Hazard communication. The contractor project management will maintain a current inventory of all materials. The safety data sheets will be maintained at the Tarleton site office. Subcontractors shall maintain a safety data sheet file for all hazardous materials they bring on site. Copies will be sent to the general contractor. Operating equipment and vehicles. Your company must supply written training verification for all fork truck operations and aerial lifts. Overhead work. All overhead work must be flagged off, or a ground person will be stationed in the area of the overhead work. Riggings. No load shall be moved above employees. A ground spotter must be used to notify employees in the path of the load. Sounding of a horn is not allowed. Signs and barricades. Wooden barricades are to be signed with a danger sign. All barricades shall have tags stating the purpose, length of time needed, date and time issued, and contact name and phone number. Welding, cutting, burning, hot work permits. Welding at eye level shall be shielded to protect employees from welding arcs. Tarleton has a 100% PPE policy. The minimum PPE must be worn on site at all times. The minimum PPE is a hard hat, brim forward, safety glasses, high-vis outerwear, and sturdy work boots. Gloves are required when handling sharp or rough objects or any task that may result in a laceration. These are the minimum requirements, and additional PPE may be needed depending on the task. Additional PPE may include face shields and/or goggles, hearing protection, plugs and/or muffs, respirators or self-contained breathing apparatus, gloves, reflective vests, Tyvek suits, rain suits, knee pads, metatarsal guards, fall protection, harnesses, and lanyards. Additional PPE required for work being performed will be identified on the daily PTSP. Any employee or subcontractor engaged in a rigging activity on the job site must be a certified rigger. Also, any person signaling a crane must be a certified signal person. These employees must show proof of their certification. All weights of loads must be known before hoisting the material, and all rigging must be inspected before use. If there is a critical lift on site, a critical lift permit must be completed and a critical lift meeting conducted before the lift is made. All subcontractors must provide a competent person or foreman with minimum OSHA 30 certification on site at all times. All crews must complete a job safety analysis, job safety and health analysis, or pre-task safety plan before each day of work begins. If your company does not have a system, Tarleton will supply a subcontractor pre-task safety plan form for your crew to complete every day. Any critical lift, task, or demo will need to have a pre-task safety plan submitted to Tarleton ahead of the task for review and coordination with the superintendent. Any excavation must be completed under the direction of a competent person. The competent person must inspect the excavations, the adjacent areas, and protective systems daily for evidence of a situation that could result in possible cave-ins, indications of failure of protective systems, hazardous atmospheres, or other hazardous conditions. An inspection must be conducted prior to the start of work and throughout the shift. An inspection must also be conducted after any rainstorm or other hazard-causing occurrence. Safe access must be provided in all excavations 4 feet or deeper, no more than 25 feet for an employee. Protective systems, sloping, shoring, benching, or shielding must be used in all excavations 5 feet or deeper. Previously disturbed soil must be considered Class C, and Class C soil cannot be benched. Protective systems for excavations 20 feet or deeper must be designed by a registered professional engineer. If a hazardous atmosphere may be present, air monitoring must be conducted and a confined space permit completed. All accidents, incidents, near misses, or good catches must be reported to Tarleton's superintendent or a project team member immediately, no matter the severity of the incident. A final incident report should be submitted to the project within 24 hours of the occurrence. Any scaffold must be inspected prior to use, be full decked, and include a full guardrail system. All ladders should be stored laying down unless secured in an upright position. Before each use, the ladder must be inspected for defects. If any defect is found, the ladder must be removed from service immediately. The top 2 steps of a stepladder cannot be used to stand or sit on. Stepladders must be set up on a stable surface with the spreader bar in the locked position. Stepladders may not be used in the leaning position. Extension ladders must be set up at a 4-to-1 ratio, secured from movement at the top and bottom and 3 feet above any access area. Access to the ladder should remain free of any obstruction. Any job-built ladders must be built in accordance to the ANSI standards. If an employee or subcontractor is exposed to a fall hazard over 6 feet on any Tarleton project, fall protection must be used. All floor holes greater than 2 inches must have a floor hole cover installed that is capable of supporting 2 times the maximum intended load, secured from movement, and marked Danger Hole.